Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is I, Gizlek, I'm back. And as they say, the third time is the charm. So, as I was saying, while Mox, Gurney and Rockwell are broken out of Protoss prison only to be taken in by a certain Terran called Broker, who they had thought missing, dead or otherwise non-existent. And while Judicator Termalis and Krillian were perpetrating a new plan to thwart not only Nan of Tyradun but more importantly the eyes of the Xel'Naga, Moloch still remains imprisoned by Nan of Tyradun, who turned out to be a traitor. I just want you guys to see the sequence because it is very well made, interesting as well. You get an idea of what's going on. Basically, this mission is about the Dark Templar thwarting the Kalai, or not exactly the Kalai, but the Protoss under Nan of Tyradun's command. And there's definitely going to be something going on with this battlecruiser. This isn't exactly a briefing, as I ended up finding out, but they're just favor previews that attempt to summarize the mission, I guess. I'm still a bit confused about these things. So let's not dwell on this. Let us instead focus on the fact that Moloch has fallen into the hands of Nan of Tyradun, and if he wishes to escape, he will have to accept help from an unlikely ally. Though he struck down the Zerberate, the psychic backlash from his connection laid the Dark Templar low. Now taken captive by Nan of Tyradun, Moloch and several of his Dark Templar brethren languish in the Archon's carrier, awaiting the traitor's arrival. The traitor being Nan of Tyradun. And yes, his atrocities span centuries. Now to summarize again, Nan of Tyradun is a forced Archon of basically one High Templar who happens to have been in league with a madman at the time of the Aeon of Strife hundreds of years ago called Severok. And Nanov and Tyradun basically ended up being a forced Archon, as Tyradun would not have Nanov's betrayal.
So, heretic, how goes your vengeance? Nothing to say. Shall I recount for you your failures? You failed to destroy the Isles. You failed to protect your precious Calderas. You failed to sully my name to the Protoss. You failed to protect the temple of Japan. You failed to take your revenge. You have lived for centuries and accomplished nothing. My actions of a single year overshadowed your entire life. You are pathetic.
Make your point.
You even failed to kill the Cerebrals. I have already begun to restore it to life.
You are an abomination. Your works are an abomination. I will see you dead.
Brave words. Have you seen my warriors? They are pure now, as you soon will be. Once Zethus is returned to life, I will turn the eye to you. You will serve me alongside the Zerg, and then your failure will be complete. Sweet dreams, Dark Templar.
Protoss. Protoss! I am friend.
I know your touch, Cerberus. You are no friend of mine.
Can be.
Why would I trust you, puppet?
Because I will use you.
You failed to make your case.
You are to die.
You seek death.
Yes, so much pain. Each time Zethus dies, the arrogant master remakes him.
How could I trust you? My blade has savored you of flesh.
Zethus knows. Zethus remembers. Where is your overmind now? Zethus recalls always. Life is pain. Death releases Zethus. The hollow void brings peace.
I must think on your words, Cerberus. If you help me escape, I will find a way to end your suffering, Zerg.
Yes, Zethus help Protoss escape. Protoss kill arrogant master. Protoss kill Zethus. Zethus has sent his servant to free you.
Your servant? Can you not simply control the Zerg on this vessel?
No, Zethus is too weak. The eye is still upon Zethus. Follow.
Brothers, when the force fields fail, make your way to the hangar bay. I will meet you there.
Yes, Praetor. What must you do?
I will disable the ship's weapons and engines. If we are to escape, I must ensure that the Archon cannot follow us.
Computer this way. And other Protoss.
Yes, I imagine there are. May they forgive me for what I must do.
Not enemies, prisoners.
Then I shall free them.
Do not waste time. Arrogant Master will find you.
I will do what I must, Cerberus. Till all are gone. Shadows in motion.
Okay, so essentially we're freeing ourselves from prison.
Granted.
And we need to find our Templar brethren, our Dark Templar brethren, excuse me,
Shadows in motion.
as well as the ship's engines
Shadows in motion.
and warp drive in order to disable both, so that they cannot pursue us or fire upon us. And the way we do this is with these puzzles. And of course, due to Nan of Tyradun's psychic assault, our Dark Templar strength is about half. Okay, so basically the point in these puzzles, excuse me, is not to click but to mouse over correctly in order to eventually get to a point where you can use the energy in the bottom left to unlock these 4 key points here. That's the kind of puzzle you'll get at every Protoss terminal. And what's important is obviously to not run out of energy. So we have to do these relatively smartly. Like so. And then maybe we can... Yep, it just about checks out.
Shadows in motion.
So puzzles like these
Granted.
allow us to unlock certain sections, enable certain bridges, such as this one, or do something cool that we're about to experience soon. Usually this would be a first playthrough, but on the first attempt I wasn't as lucky.
Till all are one. Granted.
Also getting spotted sucks. Okay, here's another terminal, and the key here is to unlock all of these points. Which I suppose means that we have to go around like this. And should I go for this one, this one? The blue orbs unlock certain key points, whereas the red ones lock them. So we need to really think about how to basically draw our circuits.
Granted. Shadows in motion. Adum Toridas. Shadows in motion. Till all are one. Granted. Adum Toridas. Granted. Till all are one. Adum Toridas. Shadows in motion.
And here we come upon a turret and a console that we can use to hopefully override it. Okay, the beam cannot connect up there for some reason. I'm not entirely certain why, but alas. Okay, so now that we're here, all we need to do is unlock this node, and then we have very dead jailers.
Brothers, fear not. Your imprisonment ends now.
What are your orders?
You are in no state for combat. Take the teleporter and await me in the hangar bay. I will disable this vessel. Till all are one. Adum Toridas. Granted.
And as they escape, we can heal up here if we ever had been wounded. Fortunately, this is not the case.
Till all are one. Granted.
So instead we'll simply ignore,
Till all are one.
not ignore, but explore here.
Shadows in motion. Granted.
And there's some sort of power generator up here. But more importantly, there is this bridge that we that we can pass, but this gate is up, and we need to disable the psionic field in order to get to this terminal.
Till all are one. Shadows.
To do that, we'll simply sneaky beaky over here. And then figure out how to best solve this puzzle. We have 2 beams here, fortunately. Two beams that for some reason run strange. Oh, since they run basically parallel, we have to be a bit cute about how we basically run this puzzle. Okay, so basically we start down here. Get to this key point. Then we have to somehow get up there. Worm our way here, and perfect. Now the bridge is unlocked, and well, the gate is down here, and we can move on to this little terminal here. That should hopefully open up our exit. And of course, should we ever need help, always look to the upper right corner.
How Protoss break computer?
The ship's computer is built with Kali technology. I should be able to disrupt it with my dark energies. It will tax me greatly.
Protoss will still kill Zethys?
Yes, though making my way through the ship may be difficult. This effort will no doubt weaken me.
So by going up like this, we end up being out of energy. So we will definitely need a better solution. Theoretically, you can do this puzzle from any starting point. But I feel most comfortable starting here. Maybe if we go down here. We'll need to unlock every node. but only the ones that benefit us. Which is right now the node up here. And what follows is a follow-up puzzle. So we take a slightly awkward route. But in terms of energy consumption, this is exactly where we want to be. So we go around here, down here. We have just enough energy for this node.
Major Monarch has disabled the ship's computer. Come, we must make our way to the hangar bay. The interceptor manufacturing facility should lead directly to the hangar bay, but it seems that the computer is out of control. We must proceed with caution.
And next up is a gate puzzle. As we can clearly see, where the objective is to get through here by enabling and disabling a certain set of gates. Probably have to move these here to open this gate, yes. Then we catch up here, so as to have all these Templar at hand. And the remaining one goes up there. In order to finally let everybody through here. Let's see what this gate does. Okay, one opens up here. There's no doubt one that opens here. So for now we're stuck with 3 Templars. I have to figure out which switches work best. So we need 2 Templars to open this gate. But something tells me we need only one of these to open the gate up here. Which is also very true. Now the question begs itself, how does this door open? Essentially this one opens here. And unfortunately you still need 2 for here, so the only solution I can think of is if one of these switches opens this gate, but that doesn't really seem to be a thing. Or maybe it does. It does. Now we can probably open up here by stepping there. We have 2 Templar free to do as they please. Okay, wait, so actually we need to open this gate. And cross here. As we do, we head up here. And from one of these 2 our desired gate should open, unless we are supposed to do this with only 2 Protoss. Which is also possible. And in fact, exactly the case. Okay, so we now have to somehow unlock the way down here. Yet again, the question begs itself. How do we best settle this? So we open up here and have essentially opened up a pathway here, which allows us to hopefully open this gate from here, bring 2 Templars down here, and then maybe, just maybe, yes, allow for a way into here. But the other question that begs itself is, does one of these switches open this gate? And in fact it does. It very much so does. And the rest of the story is a question of opening this gate now. Which is something we can reasonably do, and our 4th Templar is through.
We are through. The hangar bay is just ahead.
Ship in warp. Cannot escape.
I must disable the ship.
Yes, the engines.
Where?
Engines ahead. There are detectors. Avoid.
This vessel seems too small for overlords.
Not overlords. Brood fathers. Juvenile.
The same creatures that hunted me on Shakuras. You call them brood fathers.
Not same, young. Not Sifa. Stay back, and they not catch you.
Very well. Let us begin.
Now the only criticism I have so far is that the patrols have barely moved, if at all, until now. And now you could say it gets interesting. Now we just have to stay out of their vision, which apparently bears little to no consequences. But alright. Okay, we now have a detector up here and over there. Another one here. So far it seems simple to get through here. I imagine these guys must be noticing the strikes because they keep patrolling around there. Yeah, they're actually searching around. I like this. The fact that they bother to stop and search after me attacking a pylon. That's my compliments to the chef, really. I love it. So if we do it again now.
Speak and be heard. Adun Torinas. Shadows in motion.
Sure, fair. They return, but
Till all are one. Shadows in motion. Granted.
the vision range is thankfully short. And now all we really need to do is be up here and deactivate number 1 and number 2.
Shadows in motion.
The question is, which path leads where? There are most certainly Dark Templar captives along one of these corridors. And whilst I'm in motion, it is very difficult, if not impossible, to figure out where exactly they are. But I'm doing my best. This one has sadly perished. Okay, there's actually vents in here that we can use to hide from the vision. The brood fathers. At least such is my understanding. And unfortunately we have been detected. So, poo on us, I guess. But thankfully we'll live, and
Zeth does not know how to break engines.
Each engine is powered by its own matrix.
I guess we should have
They're
gone
well
south
shielded,
first.
But if I redirect all 3 matrices to one engine, it should overload.
And ship stops warp.
No, a single engine will not be sufficient. I will need to disable all 3.
Okay, so we need to disable all 3 engines, but I have a problem with the fact that we basically skipped the bonus mission. So I might have to do a take 2 on this map, but for now let us figure out how this exactly works. Read the manual, my man. We need to overcharge each warp engine by directing power from 3 generators to a single engine. So basically, like this.
Good. Smart, Protoss. Clever.
I have no interest in your flattery.
Okay, now we basically figure out how to... how to direct all three to a single engine. Let's first focus on the easier one.
One more, then kill Zethis.
I honor my promises.
Okay, so now we need a number 3. There we go.
Now then, Cerbit, your time has come.
Zethis in center, Master's Temple. Do it.
Tell me how to reach the hangar bay.
Not far. Zethis has own passage.
Mark, you will not escape. Your pain will be eternal.
Kill now. Master is looking for you.
We have a choice to kill or not kill Zethis. Let's go for don't kill and see what happens.
You don't deserve my pity, Cerbit.
Templar agreed.
There is no dishonor in lying to the Zerg.
Okay, so we chose not to kill Zethis apparently.
Fedor, our way is blocked and this door is too strong for our warplanes.
Fear not, comrades. The hangar bay's controls are still somewhat functional. I will free you.
I fear we left like half the Templars behind. Which upsets me because I like having, you know, a better idea of where my bonus objectives are. If I wanted to do them. So in this mission there's kind of a lack of indication where the prisoners are. That's basically my only criticism. Okay, wait, so to get through here, we have to... We are unable to interact with any console by ourselves, so we have to use the probe to interact with the consoles. So we need to create an opening for the Dark Templar and prepare the shells for departure. Okay, so we need to make sure the orders don't conflict. So if we say disable the IFF, and I'm not sure what these fuel tanks do. Is that the fuel tank or are these the fuel tanks? We could realign the pylon power, I suppose. Start a targeting routine. Oh, we need to actually sequence an order that makes sense. Okay, so if we load the antimatter missiles, activate the fuel tanks. Oh, actually, where is the pylon power aligned to is my question. Let's see. Okay, so for some reason the antimatter missiles detect a probe. Okay, so we actually need to activate both fuel tanks, initiate the shuttle sequence. Let's see what happens now. I don't entirely understand the puzzle, I have to admit. Okay, we have all ships at maximum fuel. IFF deactivated. Okay, so we need to actually load the antimatter missiles after we start the targeting routine. So if we initiate a shell sequence, disabled IFF. Let's try this. I'm not entirely sure. We'll basically refuel all the tanks. Get the shuttles over there. Activate the shuttle. Oh, we need to load the missiles first after all. Okay, so what if we loaded the shuttles? Initiated shuttle sequence? Then realign the pylon. No, actually, might want to realign that last. Load the antimatter missiles, start a targeting routine, and probably realign pylon power and then disable the IFF. Because then ideally the shuttle will have traveled a distance and not have recognized the probe on its targeting systems because friendly. Okay, no hostile targets available. That is inconvenient. Okay, so suppose we get the shells out of the way. Because we probably need to escape on those. Then we realign pylon power. Loaded the missiles. Or actually disabled IFF, loaded the missiles and then started targeting routine. What would then happen? The sequence needs to make sense. Okay, the probe still kinda dies if that happens. How do we actually do this? Let me see if I get this right. We need to create an opening to enter the hangar bay and prepare the shells for departure. Question is, how do I best create an opening, if at all? If we activate fuel tank number 1, loaded the missiles, disabled the AFF, started targeting routine. This actually doesn't make a lot of sense. I mean, sure, we are supposed to create an opening. Okay, so it delays slightly. Curious. Okay, so the obvious bit is that we need to get this gate down. Well, if we started targeting routine very late, what if we disabled the FF, activate both fuel tanks, initiated the shell sequence, loaded this, started targeting routine, and then realigned pylon power, although I think that might be a bad idea. We need to prime the scout for firing before it fires, and we need to disable the IFF somehow so that it fires at the gates. But if the probe is too close to the scout, it's going to have bad consequences. I don't think this order makes much sense either, but let's try it. Let's try to activate the fuel tank first. Get the shield up, launch the shuttle. Although I suspect there will be an error because there's no hostile targets available, of course. Any ideas? Maybe if we activated the fuel tank first. And of course this one. If you load the antimatter missiles. We gotta disable IFF eventually. So there's no way around that. We need to load the antimatter missiles first to get on the gate. We also need to make sure the probe remains out of range of the scout. I suppose we could use the shuttles for shielding or something. Though that doesn't make much sense. Or maybe this is a theory I have. If I fuel all ships by half capacity, the scout may travel halfway. And only then finish traveling after we activate the second fuel tank. It is worth testing, I suppose. So activate the fuel tank. Disable IFF load antimatter. Initiate shell sequence. Start a targeting routine, realign pylon power. Then maybe activate the second fuel tank. Although there's a chance that we'll get an objection because it's not fully fueled. That, however, depends on what happens now. Okay, the shuttles are launched and there. Targeting routine is commencing shortly. Okay, that did the trick. Because if the probe stands next to the second fuel tank, it blows up and blows the gate open. Or at least the side of the gate.
Comrades, we must join Judicator Tomalis and tell him what we have learned.
Traitorous creature, you shall know suffering as never before.
Right, so personally I'll replay this mission again just to get the bonus, but I won't torture you with it too much. If at all. In fact, I'm going to see you tomorrow, and I will definitely decide to kill Zephys on my next playthrough. But I'm gonna be seeing you tomorrow, and maybe even in the morning CET we will get to explore the missions that follow the 3-second missions that we have just played through. So I'm looking forward to seeing you guys for mission 3 A, B, and C. And after that, probably some Digimon World Next Order, because I want to get back into that. It's a good game, it's an amazing game. But more relevantly to the Antioch Chronicles, we'll be sifting through that tomorrow, so I'm looking forward to seeing you guys. And of course the same across the weekend, possibly mixed with a little Yakuza 0. Other than that, yeah, that's all I wanted to say, so I'll see you guys tomorrow. Remember, a good morning, good day, good night, depending where you live. Hang out with the guys you love, and I'll see you guys later. Goodbye. Bye.